I have noticed a few sports media personalities that are suddenly posting on X long and thorough takes that have all the qualities of a word-for-word chat GPT generated response. I'm not going to say their names now. I will show you the tweets afterwards. Should these people feel shame
Yes.
for not sharing original ideas on a social media platform that's all about that? Or are they using a tool to refine their ideas?
No, you fucking dork. You can't come up with a take by yourself. First of all, it ain't got to be long, right? There's nothing dumber than giving it away for free in long form on the tweets in the first place. People ain't got no attention span for all of that. No, those people should be ashamed of themselves. I did not know that this was a thing.
I've noticed it. Like, I sent it to our friend Nick Wright yesterday, and he was like, how can you tell that this is Chat GPT? And I said, well, one, they use an M dash, which is like this elongated dash that only Chat GPT uses. And I said, also, I was like, people think a Chat GPT or AI is just going to use like a million different styles.
Right.
It has a very defined writing style.
Yes.
And so anytime I see someone say something like, it's not a plant, it's a forest in the making, or it's not an issue, it's just something that hasn't been worked out yet.
Yes.
That's like the Chat GPT cadence. And I've noticed some people, like if you look at their tweets from like 3 months ago compared to now, it's a completely different person. But I don't see anybody calling them out, and I don't want to be the one to do it. But I definitely think it's how do you use something that is all about, let me put my opinions out there, but you need to have a computer generate what you think.
What low self-confidence, right?
I think it is that.
Because that's the point for me too. I mean, and you know, I can neither relate nor empathize with low self-confidence. Somebody else got to help make you feel better about that. I once tried to talk to somebody once about having more self-confidence about themselves. And then in the end, I was like, damn, no, you was right. You were actually the one who was correct. I am over here giving you too much credit, right? Like this was really your fault. But no, wow, I just had no idea anybody would engage in such dorked out
I'll send
behavior.
you some, and you can stay on the lookout. And if you want to bring back your old account where you just like crap on people,
I just might.
Yeah.
I don't work at ESPN anymore. I could probably do this. And I want to throw this out there also about like the AI generated scripts. You know, I watch a lot of travel videos. I watch them for travel, and I watch them when, you know what I'm saying? So that is great. They're beautiful and visual. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it does the thing. So anyway, there's a lot of AI generated scripts with the AI generated voice. And I noticed it because I was watching a video. I forgot about what the place was. And the quote unquote woman was talking about being the protagonist in your own vacation. And there's no way anybody who actually talks is referring to somebody as being a protagonist in their vacation.
And that's I just think it's important because, like, okay, since my son is 1, I talk to my wife about this all the time, that like he is going to enter a world where people don't have original thought, and it's so easy to create, but everyone's going to be creating the same thing, that like we have to treat it like our son has an opportunity to differentiate himself by being very original.
Right.
Like I think being super authentic and original is going to be a huge advantage. But it's going to be hard because it's at one click, you can get a 5-page paper written. That was never a thing. Dude, we were using the Dewey Decimal System.
Right.
Like we were putting together bibliographies. Like you had to really write. One last on this, it is question number 39. With thousands of hours of Stephen A. Smith footage online, how far are we away from AI being able to convincingly replicate him?
Oh, brother, Saturday Night Live didn't do the worst job of it with Jay Farrow. We might.
But I mean, we're reaching a point now where I feel like you could probably type in Oklahoma City beats Indy. Here's the stats and all that. Give me 5 possibilities that Stephen A. Smith can say, and I think one of them is going to hit.
Ryan says Stephen AI Smith. Somebody's going to do this, and they're not going to pay us. They're not going to
because, dude, there's so much footage of him that all of his mannerisms, his face, his sounds, his intonation, like I think the people that are on camera the most are at the biggest possibility of being replicated.
Well, I will tell you this. There are people, I know one of them, I will not tell you who it is, but there are people who are suing the AI bots behind the idea of, like, I checked this once for myself, and somebody could probably, you could do it for you, I'm sure, where you can go into ChatGPT and it's like, give me a take on this in the style of Bomani Jones. And it'll do it. And I have to tell you, I did not feel honored. I felt like ChatGPT really doesn't know who I am or what I'm about by the time I got to the end of it. But people can do it. So there are people who are suing these companies because they're like, yo, you're allowing people to plagiarize me. Which, by the way, is absolutely 100% correct in what they're telling you. But with Stephen A., oh, yeah, absolutely going to be able to pull this off, especially as he has dedicated himself to being out there, unlike any person I can remember, like ever.
All right. I just asked ChatGPT for Bomani Jones's thoughts on ChatGPT. Here are 3 possible quotes it generated. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
Let's do this.
Look, ChatGPT is basically Wikipedia with charisma. It'll give you an answer before you finish the question, but you better double check it like a cab driver in a new city.
Yo, that's Perk. That's not me.
I'm impressed and terrified at the same time. Machines can spit out hot takes on command, but can they crack a joke that lands after a bad call in Game 6? That's the real Turing test.
Yeah, go one more.
If all you do is copy and paste an AI script, you're not adding seasoning to the gumbo. You're just reheating leftovers. The culture moves forward when someone stirs the pot, not when they press send.
Now you see what I was saying? You see what I'm saying? That I don't.
That's kind of what you just said.
They don't.
But it added a gumbo.
There's
reference.
no like. They were like, what if we make it just a tiny bit racist?
Yeah,
just a touch. In fact, I'm now curious how many other black people's names that you could put in there and they would spit it right back out and say the same thing. You know, like, wow. Wow.
Hold on. I'm gonna get something really quick, including race and culture. I wanted to ask it, what percentages did you do for the style, like when you generated that?
Yes.
So a rough percentage breakdown for Bomani Jones input sources. It's saying that communication and style took 40%, saying you're conversational but sharp, wry humor, layered structure. You prefer analogies and extended metaphors. 25%, it took a cultural context. Phrases like, quote, seasoning the gumbo reflects cultural references rooted in Black Southern vernacular and tradition. Man, this is insane.
Number 1 was correct. Number 2 is where they started going a little wonky.
Yeah, they were like, we looked at where he was from and we gave those things.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. Ask a number.
Okay. Shout out to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He wear number 2, right? Let's go with number 2.
Number 2. We just had a team built through the draft by an OCD but incredibly effective GM, led by a 26-year-old that takes a lot of grief about their style of play, surrounded by supreme depth and poised to compete for championships for years to come. I'm not talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Sam Presti and Howie Roseman. Are we in the golden era of the nerd GM?
So what I find interesting about the comparison between the two of them is I think that Presti is a pretty good, like, get in the weeds and get them, right? So it did not take anything to take Kevin Durant at number 2 in that draft.
Right.
It took something to decide to take Harden at 3. It took something to take Westbrook. I think it was at 4 or 5 or whatever it was. You know,
right. We don't congratulate him for taking Chet at 2,
correct.
But in the same draft, he took J-Dub at 13.
Correct. Right. Like he gets that. Howie Roseman is like, wow, you're so big and fast. Why don't you come play for us, you big fast person? Physical outliers. And then Jalen Hurts.
Cooper DeJean, and his drafts, like, he got the center to replace Jason Kelsey, yes, and they haven't missed a beat there. I mean, so you're saying that you're not as impressed by Howie Roseman?
No, I'm saying they do it in different ways, right? I appreciate not overcomplicating this. Like, hey guys, I hear they got a lot of really good stuff at this store called Georgia. Why don't we go shop at Georgia? Like, there's no need to make this more difficult than it necessarily has to be.
J-Dub went to Santa Clara.
Right. Yeah. He's out here getting physical outliers. We have a team full of freaks. That is, we'll work the rest out later. but we got a team full of freaks. And so that's where Howie, on one level, is a jerk. I mean, not a jerk, a nerd. But on the other level is Al Davis. Like, these are all a bunch of guys that Al Davis would take.
I will say, though, that having covered the NBA for so long, everybody used to marvel at the fact that Sam Presti was given so much power and time. That there were so many years when you're playing Poku at center. Like, these guys were winning 12 games, 15 games. And they were really playing the young guys. And the comments around the league were, man, what other GM would be allowed this kind of runway? And I think they've both been given runway, and they both have owners that go, whatever you want to do, I'm going to make it happen. Look, we live in New York. I'm watching what happens with the Knicks, and it's one of these is not working, a meddling owner that doesn't want to deal with it. And the other one, giving your really smart GM ground to work with, does.
I think the owner in Oklahoma City has a self-awareness about who and what they are and what they have to be to win, right? I also think what seems very clear is that Sam Presti can articulate the plan. And if you can articulate the plan, you'll go from there. But it's like, look, we're not going to be able to get free agents, right? This isn't going to be that kind of place. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get young guys who like to be around each other. And then when it's time to get a veteran, I need to have an operation so competent that when those guys get here, they're like, no, I only got to be here for 6 months out the year anyway. Okay, that's fine. I can do that. And so he was the wunderkind when he got the job. I want to say he was in his 20s when he got it. He nailed Durant, Jeff Green, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka in successive first-round picks. But even the idea that he got so much time, I don't think that really holds. So 2020, after they traded Chris Paul and they got the picks and stuff that they got from him, they were really only down for 2 years. Then after that, they went 40-42, and then it's been these last 2 years.
Dude, the Eagles fired Doug Peterson 2 years after winning the Super Bowl.
Fair.
Like in sports, like I vividly remember Stephen A. Smith going on TV and being like, when are we going to start questioning Sam Presti?
I remember him saying that, and I was like, stop it. Well, when's he going to get a championship? Stop it.
Yeah, and it's like he has any pull. But a lot of teams and a lot of fan bases don't even allow one down year or 2 down years. Well, if the Chiefs had a down year this year, they're going to start asking, do they need, is Andy Reid, moving on and blah, blah, blah. Like we just don't have patience. So I thought the patience that they showed, and then you get to go to your owner and go, I know I need to pay $85 million for Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
And they're like, really? And they're like, you need to trust me, man.
Well, I think there's one other thing. The self-awareness that I spoke to, they happy they got a team.
True.
Like, I don't think they get enough credit for the game they ran to get that team, by the way. I know the people in Seattle don't like it, but the idea that they got a taste of that team for those 2 years and we're like, all right, cool. So David Stern says he want to show them who's boss, and we going to get a team. And they pulled it off, and it made the team good. They were a television draw for much of a decade-long period.
You just made me think of an incredible concept for the NBA. Instead of the NBA saying, maybe we'll put a franchise in Seattle, maybe we'll put one in Vegas, Mexico City, Paris, London. What if it's a competition where it's like, let's see how good of a fan base you would be. Like where New Orleans, like Oklahoma City got that tryout. And they're like, man, the crowd's packed every game. And it's like a college atmosphere.
Yes.
Let's see what you got. I would love that.
Let me tell you, my mom's from Oklahoma City. I cannot begin to tell you how happy she is about that championship.
Well, that's
she ain't lived in Oklahoma. She has not lived in Oklahoma City since the year of our Lord, 1960.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it just happened.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
All right. Let's hear another number.
We got one more. We up there we pushing the time. What you got? One more. I'm gonna say, as I said, I'm 44 years old. Let's go with the 4-4.
Okay. If we were to do an NBA, WNBA, NBA Jam combo, you would have teams like Anthony Edwards and Nafisa Collier. You'd have teams like Jalen Brunson and Breanna Stewart. But how many jerseys would the White Lightning combination of Caitlin Clark and TJ McConnell sell?
Woo!
And that team name would be the Midwest Fundamentals.
TJ McConnell, he was this close to that jersey retirement. Your guy, TJ McConnell, the only true process survivor, the only guy that had no business in the NBA and then figured out a way to make it happen. He turned the ball over 7 times in Game 7, by the way. Just want to throw that out there for people who weren't aware. Wow, they're going to sell a lot of jerseys that are going to fit you the exact right size.
Great.
It's going
to tuck them in.
Yes, it's going to be those. I mean, everybody in the state of Indiana will have one.
Everybody. Follow-up questions. I've thought about places I'd love to see Caitlin Clark play basketball. Number 1, I think, is Rucker. I always go back to the Kevin Durant clip where he's hitting all the threes. I just think there's something beautiful about Caitlin Clark walking into the Rucker and then like turning everyone into a fan by the end of it.
Well, I mean, you're not saying it, what I'm about to say.
Yeah, you're saying
I'm going to say it. I just want to be very clear. It's me, not you. They just looking for a reason to fall in love with a white girl on a regular basis, let alone one that can hoop. It don't take much for the white girl to win the brothers over. It does not take very much. She would not be going in there fighting against my skepticism. It would be a very, very welcoming. My people, generally speaking, we are welcoming when white people just want to be nice to us a little bit. But she come out there, I'm just telling you, put a lot of them factors together. Yeah. She'll be the queen. She'll be the queen of uptown.
Queen. I didn't even think about that. My second one was San Quentin. I would love to see Caitlin in like a maximum security prison, but like again wins everybody over.
That's her like giving back. You know what I'm saying? Like she going in there hooping with the inmates.
I think the Warriors played in a prison like the last 5 years.
I would pay money to watch that.
Caitlin's doing step back.
Yes. But I tell you this though, that whole thing where she be like pushing people and walking away, don't do that there.
Oh yeah. Can't do that.
No. You got to stand on your 2. You might get some respect like really doing it, but being passive aggressive is not something that they have a lot of respect for behind bars.
All right, let me get this in. This was number 21. I was hoping you were going to pick it. You didn't. Go out with one, have lunch with your parents, smoke with one. Aaron Rodgers, Mayor Eric Adams, Stephen A. Smith.
Okay, so it's go out with one,
go out, drink
with
it,
one.
go out, partying with one because you don't drink. Have lunch with your parents, and then a cipher, a smoke sesh.
Okay. I would have to bring Aaron Rodgers around my parents.
Wow.
I know too much about how my parents, my father in particular, feels about Eric Adams, the archetype, and Stephen A. Smith, the broadcast personality. That I cannot do.
So funny.
And so then we got knocked out.
So you're gonna be sitting there, and he's gonna be like, "So then when I did ayahuasca,
yeah. I think they can make that work. I brought weird white boys over to the house before. I ain't brought no whole lot of brothers over like Stephen A. Smith or Eric Adams. So the next 2.
So you're smoking with one and you're going out with one, Eric Adams and Stephen A.
Okay, I'm definitely going out with Eric Adams. Yeah. I bet that's fun. Like for all my criticisms of Eric Adams, he know the spots and the spots know. This man just said the other day, because as we're recording this on Tuesday, so it's election day for the primary in New York City. Eric Adams did something where he said how he was the first mayor to party off Dykeman. Who says that? Like, who holds that? He was on the Breakfast Club that one day. They gonna say that bald-headed brother with the earring was doing it. Who says these things about being the mayor? What are you talking about? So yeah, I would go kick it with. Did I just? Oh no.
So you're smoking with Stephen A?
No. I'm going out with Stephen A. I'm smoking with Eric Adams.
Why don't you want to smoke with Stephen A?
Because I don't think Stephen A. wants to smoke with us.
Well, he has to. It's part of the rules.
Okay, so that would mean it is.
Yeah, how would that session
It's
go?
absolutely on the board that it would be Stephen A.'s first time getting high, or at the very least, getting high as he would kicking it with me. And I don't want to be, I don't need to be a pioneer in that regard. I'll go out with Stephen A. Smith. Yes, that would be.
Could you imagine, like, it is his first time, and then someone's like, "Let me fire up a DoorDash order." And what is Stephen A. getting the munchies for?
Oh, I know exactly what he get the munchies for. Everybody knows what he get the munchies for. It's the thing that Deadspin reported many years ago. He is about those cheesy poofs, man. Stephen A.
What?
Stephen, you know the old cheesy poof thing with Stephen A. Like you can Google that. Where I think somebody saw him at a game eating the cheesy poofs. They're like, "Oh, it's Stephen A. with cheesy poofs." Stephen A. will walk around the Seaport studio with a styrofoam bowl full of cheesy poofs. He clearly keeps like a bag of them in his office, or somebody re-ups them.
The balls,
yeah, like
the
the generic Cheetos.
Cheesy poofs. Not cheesy poofs. That's from South
Yeah,
Park.
but I'm saying, but
puffs?
it's, no, but like Cheetos, but not Cheetos.
Cheese doodles.
There we go.
He loves cheese doodles?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And then Stephen A. grabs the J, and it's like all over his fingers. Yeah, and you're like, just keep it.
You don't know the rules. You know what I'm saying? He don't know the rules. I had
a Just Smoked Stephen A. crushing a tub of cheese doodles is like the funniest thing.
This actually reminds me, by the way, I had a Hall of Fame session at the Super Bowl one year that I may have told you about. But either way, somebody with way more money than I made the declaration, like, "Hey, everybody got their own, right?" He was not here for the communal spirit of it all. If you ain't got no weed, take your broke ass home.